There you go. All right, so we'll go into basically our games of the year. We kind of did it last year. We kind of separated it out to do the wackies, or maybe we separated it out this time. Or no, I think we'll keep it together. We'll kind of run through them real quick here, and I think I know what we're kind of doing for Goaty, but we'll find out. The first one though is of course 2023's quote unquote "wish I had played" mentions that maybe they would have been your game of the year, but you didn't have enough time or you didn't really get too deep into them. We'll go into Dalan's. Wish you had played more, Dalan. That maybe could have been your top 3, but just didn't play enough, maybe.
No, I didn't play enough of it, but I at least started. I started one, and the other two, I just never actually got to. Was Alan Wake 2. I plan on playing Alan Wake 1. I even have it installed on my PlayStation to actually get to that game because I want to get the whole story. Apparently, it's an excellent game, and I just want to get to it. I've been wanting to play Alan Wake. The other one was Resident Evil 4, the remake. Man,
that's a big one to miss, man.
Yeah, I bought it. I started playing it, and I did some stuff at the very beginning. I even got to the first time, what are you buying, guy? But I just, I put the game down.
What are you selling?
And I was like, man, I really need to go back to playing this game. I definitely need to do it. You went ham on that game, and I know that, but I myself did not go ham because I was busy playing other games, and I can't remember what those games were now.
Okay, reasonable. What else, Dalan? Or is that?
Those are my. I only got 2 on my list.
Luis, what's your wish I had played mention for 2023?
There's really the only reason I didn't play this game is just because I had no time. Really, there's other games I was playing. Alan Wake 2, and I've heard nothing but great things about this game. I'm not gonna go back and go to the Fortnite event or whatever, things like that.
It's only 40 minutes.
I might
it's only
consider
40 minutes.
I think I got through 3 quarters or something of Control, so maybe I'll go back and finish that game before I go to Alan Wake 2. But shout out Wario64 on Twitter. I bought this game for like $20 on the Epic Game Store with one of the little codes and events that he had going on. So I have it.
Yeah,
I have the game. I just need to play it. So I'll hopefully play it within the next few weeks. But yeah, that's it.
There you go. By the way, you said you played 3 quarters of Control. I don't want to do spoilers. If you want to play, just for context, you have enough context. I'm just gonna. 3 quarters of the way for Alan Wake 2. Hopefully that's not. I don't think that's a spoiler, but you have enough context if you need it for context. Deo, what about you, sir?
I will also add Alan Wake 2, but not because I didn't have enough time. It's because they didn't release a physical copy for this game, until they do,
I like that.
I won't be playing that game.
I like that.
He wants a steelbook.
I like that. That's a principled take on this here awards, on this prestigious award. Someone's taking a stance.
Edition with a flashlight.
Yeah. Come on.
And they're even crossing over with like
Dead with Sam Lake's signature on it. Something.
They're even crossing over with a what is it called? Dead by Daylight and everything. They're doing crossovers and all that stuff and no physical.
They did a Quantum Break little connection there. I'd be all in.
Yeah, and I think it might be. It has to have something to do with Epic, man. Because even Baldur's Gate 3, and I think that was because it's an indie game. People don't know, or they don't mention it, but Baldur's Gate 3 is an indie game. But I think it might be with whatever agreement Epic Games did to produce Alan Wake 2 or whatever it is. So they gotta be like this, just digital.
They're hemorrhaging money, dude. They want all that cash.
They need to make a physical edition, so people like Dale buy it. So they kind of stock their coffers a little bit. You have another game, by the way, as well.
And then the other one is Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. And I was waiting for a physical copy of that one too, specifically for the Xbox, because I've played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 on Xbox, like for the original Xbox and everything. So I want to keep it part of that console.
Just get it digitally for now, and then buy a physical copy.
Hey, no, he's taking a stance. He's taking a stance. Dalen, don't try to back him down from his stance.
Well, I pre-ordered the. They are releasing a physical version of it with a steelbook.
Oh, that's right.
And some nice extras. So
you want your steelbook?
I have that on tap, but I don't know when they're going to ship it. It might be like in February or March. It's kind of questionable right now.
2025. I got you.
There you go. For me, the game that the games that I wish I had played, and these are they hurt a little bit because I think they might have had a chance to crack into the top 3 games. I didn't play enough of Starfield. I played, a couple hours. I know people are kind of like, it's kind of antiquated and it feels old, so I was a little scared of that as well. But I still got to go back to it, man. I mean, it's Bethesda. I feel like there's enough there I was enjoying it from the couple hours that I played. Also, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. I know that's a DLC, man, but it looks nice. It looks like I could have made an exception. It's
basically like a whole nother game, though, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, I think potentially I could have made an exception for that. But I just didn't get around to playing it. Cocoon is also another one that's like on Game Pass. That one probably I could have played through it. I think it's a short game. Dale, did you play Cocoon? I think I had seen you play it. Yeah, and that's one that maybe could have been up there. It looked pretty cool. But yeah, those are kind of my runners up that I think could have maybe challenged the other games that I would have had in my top 3. But of course, it's games I wish I had played more. But we will go into the next one. These are honorable mentions. Basically, these are games that just are outside of the top 3, right? This year we did top 3. We didn't play too many games, I guess, or just to make the panel a little more even, right? But the honorable mentions that are just outside your top 3, Dalan, what would you say, sir? Is they just couldn't crack? They just couldn't crack into the top games.
Well, there were too many good games that also came out this year. So 2 of them were a repeat on my list, and that was Sea of Stars and Mario Wonder. They almost ended up on my top 3. The Dead Space remake was just so good.
Mario Wonder didn't make it on your top 3, Dalan. Okay.
No,
you were fighting hard I was backing you up here. I was backing you up here. I mean, what are we doing here, Dalan? What are we
Carlos,
doing here?
If this was a top 5, it would be on my top 5.
Okay,
but
fair.
All right. All right, so I also had Final Fantasy 16, and surprisingly enough, probably to you, Carlos, I really liked Humanity because I like my little puzzle games, and that was a really good one. Oh yeah, that came out.
I looked up
the Game of the Year award goes too.
Yeah. I looked up the solutions, man. I tried them like once. I was like,
not.
F this. I'll just give me a solution here. I'll go.
Street Fighter 6 was definitely one of the better fighter games that came out this year. And really, that almost made this list. Like, I was fighting on whether or not I should put it on my top 3. Was Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh my
it was
God.
so close
that
to the
did
cut.
come out.
It was so close to the cut. That game was good.
Yeah.
If only it hadn't bugged out on you.
No, there were just other games that came out that just beat it by a hair.
That, by the way, that one I didn't completely forget about that game, and I must have put it down on my notes as a Wacky Award for do better next time or something. But I don't remember the context. I don't remember the context.
Okay. So
maybe the map was like still trash or something. I don't know, something.
Maybe for you, but I know for me, and the thing that Luis was referencing to right now was there was the bug where you could not collect the bounty pucks, so you could not do this whole string of stuff in order to get a specific trophy. So instead, I just critical pathed the game, and I did a couple of extra things, and the entire game was fun the entire way. This was almost on my frictionless list, but it had its big ass. But that was a big bug.
That was a big. I could not condone this kind of behavior.
I could not. They fixed it eventually, but I was just so mad about that.
I had to play more. I had to play more of that game. I think I just kind of.
You need to beat it. You would love it. I guarantee you, Carlos.
But for whatever reason, I put it down. This was like months ago. I think I was like, do better. I don't remember why I thought it should have done better. But maybe it did. I just don't remember the context. Did great. But it should have.
That game was good.
Any what else, Dalan? Should have.
No, for my honorable mentions, that is my honorable mentions list.
Right. Dale, what about yourself, sir? What do you think would have made it? It was just outside your top 3.
Yeah, so I have a few, and I'm just going to do quick hits for that. Number 1, Cocoon, excellent puzzle game. Probably the best puzzle game I played this year, definitely, like pure on puzzles. Viewfinder, that's a really good like first person puzzle game. It's a very like spatial kind of game that's on Steam, which is awesome. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, that is an amazing DLC in its own right. It totally changes how the game works and how it feels, and the attitude of the game you get from it is just like it turns into an action game. It's nuts.
It's
one to potentially justifiable as like game of the year, top 3. Like, even though it's just DLC.
I wouldn't give it game of the year.
Okay.
I couldn't.
Okay.
because it's to me it's not enough. But
okay.
That's why it's an honorable mention. That's why
I like it.
It was he was that so close. His is on the same level as my Star Wars Survivor. If this is the top 5.
There you go.
Right.
All right.
The other ones I have is Venba, which is an awesome like cultural indie game. If you ever get to play it, it's about Pakistani Indian culture from Toronto.
What was it called?
Check that out. Venba. It's on Game Pass also.
Also, it's on the rundown, Dalan. Venba.
I see it right there.
I mean, it's right there. But for how about this? Then you were playing the part of the audience. I understand, Dalan. Venba. Okay.
Cool. It comes from the perspective of like a first generation, migrant to or second generation migrant to like North America or United States in general. And it's really interesting how it tells a story in that way. Metroid Prime Remastered. Obviously, I had to put that on there because Carlos hires me to do this all the time. And
he is there for
reasonable.
Just kidding. It's an awesome game. That's an awesome game. And then my last honorable mention is Gran Turismo 7. Specifically, the VR is incredible. That is the most immersed like racing I've played ever since I started picking up the racing sim genre with Gran Turismo 1. It's phenomenal.
I got a GameFly that or something, man. If it ever goes on cheap, you use the PSVR 2, right, for that?
Yes.
So I think I've just been waiting on my GameFly for a slot to open or something,
like
and I wanted to try that.
Game changing. Like it literally like it teaches you if you're new to racing in general, like to real life racing, it really teaches you how to really race, like tracking your eyes to apex points and like learning where brake distances are and stuff like that. It's amazing.
Okay, nice. Look, for me, the games that are just outside my top 3 is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. It was
that is the first mention of that game.
It's nice. I know we haven't talked. Well, we were doing Wacky. Well, in the honorable mentions, right? Well, you would think. It's still in the surround. It's just so big of a game, man. But I was having fun with it, and I understand the internet just. I don't know. I don't want to discredit them, but I think the internet loves like. They're like, I wish I could make my own game. And to me, it's like, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun. Give me a story. Give me something to do. But I think the internet's like, I want to build shit. I want to do this.
Give me a game that's designed already, please.
Yes, and not
the Minecraft generation, man.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why it takes off with that. And even like the roguelike type stuff is it's not in the same vein necessarily. But to me, it's like, I like Zelda. And that's why to me it's so intriguing that a Link Between Worlds is like, I want to go to that. I want to go to that. Tears, I think I'll go back to it at some point. I got a big Switch backlog because I only play like 15-30 minutes at a time at work or I'm at lunch or on break, so it takes me forever to beat Switch games. But I feel like it should have hooked me. It should have hooked me like another game that I'm gonna mention a little later. That I want to play it. I want to keep playing it. And Tears, I will go back because I was having fun with it. But I guess not enough. The other runner-up, and this is mainly because I still haven't beaten it, but also it's kind of been like maybe it's a little too simple. Super Mario RPG is just outside my top 3. The writing is nice, like pretty much every Paper Mario, or like even Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and all these are all kind of in the vein. I put them all in that vein of like, but it's written really well. That you actually laugh. I actually laugh out loud every so often, and I think this continues that kind of trend. It looks pretty. It didn't crack my top 3, I think, because it was remade, but not that much, man. You still have like the characters don't fully animate sometimes. They just jump up and down, which is kind of a cute throwback. But speaking of the writing real quick, I know Luis just threw it in the chat in one of our, off-wax chats where I think it might have been the latest Paper Mario game, but it's like, no, I don't like that. And it's kind of like just gives you a sense of like, Just the writing is good, and I think they continue that with Super Mario RPG. I don't know if it's the same. I hope you're excited for
Princess Peach then.
If it's an RPG, I don't know if that's an RPG, Dalan. I mean, if it is,
I don't know what Princess Peach is.
I'll mess with it. But Super Mario RPG is kind of a throwback to simpler times, and it's pretty nice. It's a nice little game. If you guys are interested, go ahead and kind of check that out. But yeah, those are my games. Thank you for writing it into the rundown. Whoever did that, thank you very much. We'll go into our top 3 now. And I was thinking about it, so we've done top 5s before, so I feel like we can still keep it just to make it a little waggly. We could still do our like 5 points, 4 points, and 3 points, just to kind of keep it a little uniform that way for hopeful future Game of the Year episodes. But we'll start with you, Dalan. What is your number 3 for 3 points? 3 points. Your number three game of the year, Dan. Remember, we're not starting at your best.
I understand what's happening, Carlos.
Okay.
That happened one time.
It's enough.
For me,
it's enough times.
For me, because I had to really pick and choose, and really it's just my top 3, but at the bottom of my top 3, I have to say, for me personally, it is a personal decision.
We know. What's your top 3,
Carlos?
man?
You be getting mad about these types of things.
No, it's fine. It's your
I'm saying this also for the audience because I know one person is going to one. Sorry, Jeremy. It is going to be Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is my number 3.
All right. Well, explain yourself.
I will say that the game was excellent all the way around. I didn't have to put it on my frictionless list because it's on my top 3. I platinumed Spider-Man 1, Miles Morales, and I had just as much fun platinuming this one. I even had the thing where you had
I'm excited, man.
New York.
I'm excited to go back and platinum it. I'm kind of hyped.
The stories that they brought into this, I am ready for either DLC or the next Spider-Man game because they set it up perfectly to have another Spider-Man game. Huh?
Black Cat Booty DLC.
There you go. You got that one. The symbiote is all over this game, which was an excellent part to me. Kraven was all over it, and they did all these stories so excellently. Don't get me wrong. The one aspect of the game that was kind of a setback for me that I did not want to do, I didn't want to do all those Kraven Hunter bases. That was way too many Kraven Hunter bases. Like, you don't need that many Kraven Hunter bases.
But so that's why it's number 3, Dalan, for the optional side quest stuff.
No, it's number 3 because I had more fun with other games.
Okay, no spoilers.
So, that said, I will tell you later.
All right, I like it. Luis, what's your number 3 personal? This is just personal. What did Dalan just say? This is just you. This is just you, Luis.
Personal to me.
But it was funny to me.
Luis, what is your number 3, sir?
I know for a fact none of you have this anywhere on any of lists at all. But to me, for the simple fact that I sunk so many hours into this game this year, Honkai Star Rail.
Honkai
Star Rail has to be my third game.
You really did love yourself some Honkai. You were dropping bills on.
Stop stepping on his lines, Dalan. Let him talk.
I don't just right now. I just looked at only my iPad because I played because this game is cross-platform and it's so seamless. Literally immediately after I put down my iPad, I can log onto my PC, my phone, my other phone, my Pixel, and it just picks up where it left off. Like everything saves. It's cross-platform, whatever. This week I have 90% of my iPad usage is Honkai Star Rail so far.
What?
It'll show it to you, right? Like this is the app you've been using or whatever. That's pretty nice.
So yeah, this game is just it's constant rotation. I'm on it it's pretty grindy. You have to log on and you only get a certain amount of energy every single day, and it reloads every handful of minutes. But yeah, you have to grind certain materials and this and that to level up certain characters. And the thing about it, I guess, on the grindy side is that you have to grind different things for different character types and different relics, which is basically like armor that they have, and then also their light cone, which is quote unquote, I guess, kind of like their weapon that you attach to them. So every character levels up differently, which means you kind of really can only level up one at a time. But that being said, it's still, with the grindy nature of it and all that, I'm playing this game all the time, dude. And don't ask me already. Dalan already mentioned it, that I sunk money into it. I have no idea how much money I spent on this game, honestly. I don't know. Don't ask me. I have no clue. But I would, if I were to guess, it's somewhere around 1,000 or something like that. $1,000 this past
They
year
found one of their wells. Or actually, I don't even know that's welly, because wells are in the 10, 20, 30,000 range.
Dolphin,
yeah, like a dolphin.
Like
You're like a little dolphin, a little dolphin scale.
Trust me. I'm doing it. I can afford it. It's not like I'm going broke on this game. Yeah. But
hey man, you get enough spouts in your game, you got yourself a nice little flood going on. You got a river of money just flowing in. Thank you, Luis, for giving these people money.
I'm helping all the other free-to-play players enjoy the free-to-play.
There you go.
So yeah, I know you kind of mentioned like, oh, I play it here, I play it there, and it's like, and my response when you were saying that, I was like, oh, I know how much you play, because we hang out, we go, recently we hung out with Deo and Real IRL, but when I'll pick up Luis sometimes, like, all right, I'll pick you up, we'll go there and here. He's on his phone pulling the lever. Is it the lever or the pull or whatever it is?
No, I'm not doing that. I only did pulls that time.
Okay. He's playing this all the time.
But you were playing it even when we were with Deo.
When we were at Jeremy's house, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was like, look how much fun I'm having playing this game, and I had the phone on the table auto-battling for me.
So,
and then you were excited to get your one character that you were trying to pull all 2 weeks.
And I got him. I got our Jedi. I got him.
So, Deo, what's your number 3 personal? Just to you. What's your personal?
Me personally, my number 3 is Spider-Man 2.
Thank you. I'm not the only one. I'm surprised.
You're not the only one, Dalan.
All right.
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is a very excellent game. It's a high-quality game. And it is something I expect from PlayStation Studios, specifically Insomniac, every single time. And they nail it. However, that expectation they hit all the time is super predictable to me. So
that's fair.
Like, personally, I'm just like, I know what I'm getting. I know this is going to be phenomenal all the time. I know this is going to be frictionless gaming. I know that Act 3 of this whole thing is going to tear my heart apart once the story concludes. And it's just like, oh, it has the highs and like very rare lows in the game. It graphically, it isn't like the craziest looking game, but art style wise, it nails it. Wow. And just like how they did Venom and his suit and the music and Craven isn't even in my periphery of like top 10 Spider-Man 2 villains. But in this game, they integrated him so well into the story that I was just like, wow, I kind of care about this guy, and like his brothers and sisters or something that are put into like the subplots and everything. So I was like, damn, man, I want to fight these guys.
It goes to like how packed the game is. I hope this isn't a spoiler, but Craven he doesn't have as big of a role as you think.
No,
like that's not a. Hopefully that's not a spoiler, but it's just it's how packed the game is with like story and lore, and that I actually care about. I don't even care about lore, Dalan. You know I don't care about lore. And I was like, there's good stuff in here. Let me take notes.
There's good stuff in here.
Take notes. But my bad, Dale. Go ahead. My bad.
I'm just saying that there's parts of this game that are just like whoa, like I can't believe they went there with this character or this like fight scene or like all this jazz, and I'm just blown away every single time. But I expected that, so that's why I've kind of docked it a couple of rungs. It would be number 1 easily if it weren't for the other 2 games that I played along this year.
I like it. Dalan, we'll get to you on your number 2 game of the year. Just you personally, Dalan. What's your
just me personally? This game I apparently sunk way more hours into than I thought, and it just so happens to be Remnant 2. Remnant 1 was not very smooth, and I'll admit that, and it was hard to get into Remnant 1. But Remnant 2, he's like, why, Dalan? He's just sad about it. The game is just
good. Him. This is just him. It's his personal number.
It's his personal
number. I went okay, so when I was playing Remnant 2, I was playing it by myself. It's very single playable, and it's honestly fun. And it has its challenges to it. You're out there trying to get new weapons and items, and the levels themselves, everybody else will have a different experience than you, because you could go into one world and you have completely different bosses from somebody else. It does not reshuffle every time you walk through a door. It just re-rolls the entire world all at once. You're playing, just one time. And then you can re-roll it. You can re-roll the entire campaign, get completely different bosses, completely different weapons the entire run, and it's a totally different game for you, like the whole way through. Even the final boss can be re-rolled. So when I was playing with I luckily had the chance to play the game with Ricky, so he helped me out. We went through the entire game together. It's just as much fun having a co-op person. I believe the game is up to 3 players at a time. We would have loved to have a third player with us. We were out there murdering stuff. We were out there dying a lot. It was
cross-platform. I would have been there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not cross-platform. That's the one downside to it. But I would go back and re-download this on PC just to play it with you, Luis. Not a joke.
So that's your number 2 game.
That is my number 2.
I will say this. I forgot to mention my number 3. My personal, just to me, we kind of skipped to the next one. I was like, okay, that's true. That's true. But I'm doing math here though. Like I'm look at my. Right, there's like an arrow. There's like an arrow where it's like, what happened to mine? Yeah, so number 3 for me, and I kind of like seeing it on your guys' honorable mentions. Alan Wake 2, man, it was just that good. The experience was just that nice. The fact that the narrative structure of it is kind of a trip, but I like it. And I thought it was gonna be annoying, the fact that they go from like 3D graphics to like real life, like a live action shot, and it's not. It's actually pretty nice. And the graphic, what happened? It's the what?
They did that in Quantum Break. Another.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were doing that on. But I feel like that wasn't too bad either. But this one was even a little more seamless. I feel like I'm okay with this. I'm okay that this is a live action scene, and then we go back into the graphic, into the the in time, real time graphics, and I think it's just a testament of how good the graphics are. You're going to be really impressed when you guys get around to it. I think some of the vocal stuff, some of the animations sometimes are a little rough, but for the most part, the game looks incredible. It plays great. As far as the narrative structure and all that, I kind of like how you're piecing things together. I kind of like one of my favorite shows is True Detective. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It kind of has that sort of a style. That's kind of Alan Wake 2 style. The only thing that holds it back a little bit, and it's still top 3, so it's still a damn excellent game. It's a little convoluted, man. The gameplay sometimes it's a little like. And probably like coming off of playing Resident Evil 4, just how smooth that game was, and the fact that it's like you feel like you do get scared, but you feel capable. And in Alan Wake 2, you kind of sort of feel capable, but I don't know. And I guess it's part of the horror trope, right? That you always feel like a step behind or something. But it was enough to where it's like there's a little friction. A little friction there, but it's still my number 3 game. I kind of skipped around there. We could get back on track. Luis, what is your?
Still need to play Alan Wake 2. I'll say that. I still need to play.
I think it could potentially have made it onto this top 3. I think potentially, just based on I was like, oh, you guys were kind of looking forward to it, just didn't get around to it. That's just what it is. Luis, your number 2 personal, just you personally.
Yeah, just to me personally, cause it's got to be Frontiers of Pandora, little Avatar action. Okay. Throw it on the list. Granted, like I have mentioned, I didn't play that many games this year, but even to me, like I don't typically like this type of game. And I have mentioned to Carlos already, I kind of played Far Cry games, like demos in here and there and that stuff. I don't know what those games are like really, if it's similar, cool, but it's still a fun game. Like that doesn't take away from the fact that this is still a really fun game. It feels very complete. If I were to complain about one thing, it's I don't necessarily, not that it's bad, but I don't really like care all that much about the main story. I do just like I do like progressing the story and seeing where it's going, but I do really, the big part of the game is just exploring things and seeing like what the other clans kind of need from you, because that's sort of what the I guess monetary system in the game is. There's no money. It's more like you get what they call clan favor. So you do favors for other clans and they go, oh, okay, now that you did this favor for us, you can like sort of buy, quote unquote, this thing that's in our shop, or like we'll trade, because you helped us, we'll give you this piece of gear, like that kind of thing. So I think maybe that's the reason I'm doing more of the side stuff, because I want extra gear. I want more recipes to like craft different things and all that stuff. But yeah, overall this game is just I aside from the story being a little lackluster, there's not really much to complain about. It's a pretty complete game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a high quality game. It definitely is. It's. I mean,
like I gotta get that game. Everybody's talking about it. Oh man.
Dale, what is your number 2? Just personal, just you. What is your number 2 game of the year, sir?
My number 2 game is Like a Dragon Gaiden.
Okay.
The Man Who Erased His Name. Dude, that game, like, I don't like. There's not a lot of people. How do I say this? There's not a lot of games that get to me. Like, I'll cry during a game. Like, I've cried during Metal Gear Solid 3, the ending of that game, Ori, and like in Mass Effect 2 when Mordin died. I was like, damn, that's really or when Gears 2 when Dominic died too.
Whoa! Spoilers on 2 different fronts.
It's been more than 10 years. Get over it,
decades, man.
But this game, like, it's the culmination of, like, since 2005 of this entire series of, like, the closing of one of, of Kiryu Kazuma. So it's like, it wraps it up. It's super emotional. It's, like, cathartic. And I've never, like, ugly cried this bad before, to the point where, like, when I'm at the ending, when I was rolling in credits, my wife came in and she's like, "What happened? Did someone die in the family?" I was like, "No. It's just it's just emotional. I'm just emotional right now."
He's like, "Oh man."
Yeah, you're like, "I'm invested in this game and it got sad."
So good. It's hard. It's tough, especially when you've been with a character for 20 years almost now. So it's like, I don't know. The gameplay, the only criticism I have for the game is that the gameplay is very samey. It's the brawler type gameplay instead of like the Dragon Quest RPG gameplay of the last game. But they do some interesting things with it, where you build a clan and you get to fight other clans inside of the game, like a battle royale style. And the story is good. The graphics are really good. One of the characters who's kind of like your coordinator or of the fights, and she kind of helps you procure weapons and items in the game. She's kind of cute. I kind of like her a lot. Like, I don't know what it is about her design. It's really nice. And her voice actor is really cool. But other than that, like, it's just like that emotional component to it really got to me. A lot more than Harry and Peter's story in Spider-Man 2. Only because, like, that's just a recency kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really hit me. Like, did you guys ever watch that movie The Warriors? It's like from the 80s.
No.
Dude,
it's like gang fights.
Warriors.
You're talking about the classic Warriors. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, is he talking about a different Warriors than what I'm thinking about?
No,
he's talking about the Warriors movie.
The American Warriors.
Yeah.
He's talking about.
You guys remember that?
Can you dig it?
The game is essentially like,
and of course, the Man from the Bay is like, that's gotta be one of your jams, right? Because it's based in San Francisco, right? Or no? Isn't it?
No, it's
it's Coney Island. My bad. Look, I'm doing math, all right. I'm doing stuff over here.
Dude,
you're
we're
right.
at the end of this show.
You're right.
Stop doing
maybe I'm thinking
Golden.
Maybe I'm thinking Golden State Warriors. You know, that's what I'm talking about. All right, but yeah.
I thought you were talking about the show, The Warrior, or just Warriors, the one that was based on Bruce Lee's books, which is good, and I implore anybody out there to watch.
So, Like a Dragon, Gaiden, Man Who Erased His Name, right? Did I get the name right? There's your number 2 for 2023. My number 2, I don't know if I teased it enough earlier, but yeah, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. All right, is my number 2 game, and I'll put it like this. I already mentioned it. I know you hated on it, Dave. I understand, but this is my personal. All right, and I'm a little surprised that it's not a little higher for Dalan. Look, I did mention.
No, I told you, man, it was right up there.
Okay,
it was right up
not
there.
Enough, but not enough. But look, for me, I think the biggest thing for Mario Wonder is the fact that I mentioned it earlier, and like the Switch to me is kind of a second tier. It's a nice system.
Even beat the game.
Didn't what I'm saying? I did. The game was beat. I rolled credits. These are extra levels.
The game was beat.
Yeah, the game was beat.
Do all the special.
I went back. So that's kind of what I was gonna get to. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, look, the Switch for me, like I said, is really like the game system I play at work, so in 15, 30-minute increments kind of thing. So that's one thing where I was like, I'm gonna play this outside of work. I'm actually gonna put it on my TV. That's how good of a game it is. Not only that, but a game that doesn't have trophies or achievements. I went back and was like, let me see everything. I want to see everything in this game. So to me, that's a big deal. The fact that no achievements, no trophies, it's a second tier system, and I still was like, I need to continue playing this game. Puts it up there, man. It puts it up there. And not only that, there's a third thing. Damn, what? Is this not my number one game? It's my number two. It's my number two. But the third thing is they came out with these games called New Super Mario Brothers. I know, like the Warriors. I don't know if you guys heard about the Warriors movie. But the New Super Mario Brothers games, they were not really new, man. They were like kind of like existing mechanics and existing things. This feels like when they were doing Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, you know, and World. This feels like it could have been a 5. It could literally be like all this cool stuff that it does. The fever dreams that are in pretty much in every level. The creativity of all the levels in a 2D world, by the way. So I'm like, you would think they can't do much more, and they do. And they, I know the multiplayer part. I think that knocked it down for you when we talked about it initially, Dalan. But I was like, whatever. The multiplayer is like, play it single player, have fun that way. It's incredible, man. It's my number 2. Just me. I am HO.
Luis,
number 2 Super Mario.
not Luis. I'm sorry, I'm yelling at the wrong person. Dale.
Wow.
Play this game.
Which Nintendo executive is paying both of you guys to say this?
I wish.
Miyamoto. Haven't you heard?
Miyamoto, man. I think it's kind of, for me, like, it meets these certain criteria that is like, if it wasn't that good, it wouldn't crash through every border, every wall, everything you want to put in front of it. All right, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. But it's just that good. It's just that good. We're gonna go. There you go. Okay, there you go. You might remember me and Dalan. It took us a little while to find the fun. Maybe you still gotta hit that threshold of finding the fun, and you're like, you know what? I'm in on this fever dream. I'm in.
That's actually a very good point. Okay, that's a very good point. Okay, all right.
But don't feel bad. That's okay. Dalan, your number 1 personal GOATY. And you guys have surprised me already, man. I thought it was going to be a clean sweep. Because last year, I think it could have been a clean sweep, right? God of War Ragnarok, maybe if Dale had played it. But other than that, we all kind of dug it.
I feel like Carl was supposed to say Spider-Man 2 is his number 1 right now.
I mean, you know, it hasn't shown up. Hey, no spoilers. Dalan, what's going on here?
No spoilers.
Dalan,
okay.
Your number 1 personal game of the year, sir.
My number 1, again, just your opinion. To me, because, and I'm sorry, Luis, that Carlos ruined it so much for you, but Dead Island 2 was so much fun.
What? Okay. That is definitely your opinion only, Dalan. But okay.
Look. Wow. I was thinking about it through all the games that I played the entire year. I honestly had the most fun playing Dead Island 2. I had fun playing Star Wars Jedi Order, the fucking Mario Wonder. I had fun playing Spider. I had fun playing all these games.
That was fun.
That was
kind of cool.
So much fun. Throwing weapons, killing these zombies, watching these things climb up the Ferris wheel coming at me. It was just a fun game the entire way for me. The story did build on it, but mostly it was just the gameplay and having fun with people actually joining. Whether you joined or not, though, I was still out there running through subway systems and in the sewers. I went through Hollywood Boulevard. Don't get me wrong, it's called Dead Island and it's in the middle of LA, but it was still fun.
Hell LA. That was a hell A.
That was the only hang up that I had about the game. Yeah. Other than that, everything else about the game was fun. Everything.
Dalan, I respect your IMHO. We play different games, man. This is like what we obviously played different games. I think it was good, and I had fun playing co-op. But that's
that said, Luis, if you want to roll back the game and you want to have fun playing with somebody, I'm there with you anytime you're ready. Whenever you're ready, just let me know. I'll be there.
Look, I'm gonna switch it a little bit just because I think you guys threw some nice wrenches. This is what I like when we do these. No, but Dale did too. I think Dale did too a little bit. So Dale did. It wasn't just you, Dale. You threw the biggest wrench because Dead Island 2. Come on, bro. Come on, Dalan. What's going on here? It's gonna be some wacky math when I do it, depending on what Dale goes with. But Dale, what's your number 1 personal IMHO? Just your opinion. number one game of the year?
My number one game of 2023, I finished in 2024, and that's Hi-Fi Rush. That is my number one game.
Hey, I will give you that's an excellent game.
Interesting.
It is an excellent game, and it did take me a while to get used to it because, like, I was like,
you had to be on beat.
to be on beat. I know instruments, I play instruments, and I'm like, why is this so difficult to me? But there's like a learning curve along with like playing an instrument. Like you got to learn how to, go with the beat and everything like that. And eventually you get so good at the game with all the upgrades and your skill level that it's just beautiful. Dude, oh my God, it's so good. The combat system, this is one of the best combat systems I played since the original God of War. 2018 God of War. Okay. And
it's definitely a very original battle system.
It's so good. It reminds me, like Carlos said, of Jet Set Radio from Dreamcast with the cel-shaded art style. The animation is excellent. The character and voice acting is amazing. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that funny, but there's so many jokes and like all these like character interactions between the group that you build along your journey with Chai that I'm just like, why? This feels like a Saturday morning cartoon that I've been watching all these years.
That robot cracks me up. I don't even know that robot's name.
The fact that he can he's an emotionless robot, but in order for him to show emotion, he has to draw with a marker his emotions on his face. And it's hilarious every single time because it quick cuts to his face every time they do something funny or they're like in a dangerous situation or something like that. I was just dying by the end of the game watching his reactions and the way they implemented him and during the third act and the final bosses. Just so good. And then every single boss is an adventure.
Different.
It's different every single time. I was like, I'm surprised you guys were able to explore this beat battle system and have it different for so many different bosses and they implement it in so many different ways. And not only that, you could upgrade Chai and his fighting abilities to do like personalize it into your play style. Like if you want like a counter heavy moveset, you could build it your way. Or if you just want to do brawler style, you could do it that way. The companion call-ins are really good. The soundtrack is what bowled me over basically because like it's like I'm listening to my own iPod, which is like
you got it right off the
new generations know like this is my own iPod. They just tuned it towards the game. When they had the black keys on there, I was like,
wow, first song, 9 Inch Nails. That's one of the bosses.
9 Inch Nails.
Why isn't this your number one game, Dalan? What's going on here?
I know the game.
I know.
I meant to put it. No,
he's hyping it up.
I meant to put it on my honorable mentions.
Not even.
And then when they had Fiona Apple's one of my like crushes from like the 90s, and then they had Joy Formidable, which is like one of the best like 2000s bands that I loved, and I was just like, oh, I'm up on this. Like I knew the beat, I knew the timing for each one of those songs, and I was jamming.
Look, wasn't Fiona Apple like early 2000s? You're like 90s.
No, that was 95.
Look, Dale, I would want to kind of blame recency bias, but you make a great case, man. Even though I know you just beat it, and I saw your but see, that's the thing. I saw your Twitter, and I saw the case you made for it right now, and it's kind of like. I gotta play it. I gotta go back play it. Dalan, Dead Island 2 case so flimsy. Flimsy.
Screw you. That game was fun to me the entire way.
Maybe because we played it together also, Dalan, so I'd already played it, but Hi-Fi Rush, man, it's gotta go up. It's gotta go up on the list, man.
I hope, like, I know there's rumors right now that Hi-Fi Rush might be ported over to other platforms, and I encourage you to play them if you haven't played it on Xbox or anything. Yeah. I just wish they had a physical copy for it, because I'd buy a special edition, steelbook, whatever. I'll probably buy this game like 5 times over. Yeah. No matter what platform.
There you go. I gotta put that up on my backlog list. Like it's gotta go high. You know what unfortunately, what it might take, Dale, is they gotta go leaving Game Pass. I'm like, I gotta play it now. But I think it's a Bethesda game, so I don't think it'll ever leave, right? But I gotta put it up there, man, because I did have fun with the limited time I had with it. It was pretty
Tango Gameworks got something cooking over there with these two games. Ghostwire Tokyo and this franchise. So.
Look, I hope you don't mind, Luis, since I'm going to have to do the math here, but I'm going to go first, and I think I might have an idea of what you're going to go with, but for me, my number one personal IMHO opinion, Spider-Man 2, man. Spider-Man 2. And I know, look, Wonder was up there. It was challenging it. Even Alan Wake 2 a little bit. It was jockeying for position. I know you understand those racing terms, Dale. Or is it a horse racing? I don't know. Whatever it is. But they were they were challenging for it. But Spider-Man 2, man. I mean, look, I think I understand that people are like, they want to build their own stuff with like Tears of the Kingdom and they love their roguelikes nowadays. But honestly, I think Spider-Man 2, not only was it frictionless, the story was enough to like, I want to keep going. Kind of similar to what Luis was saying. It's like, I just want to keep seeing the end. I want to keep going. It had that for me. The gameplay was strong. It was nice enough to where I was like, it's not the game's fault that I'm not beating it. It's my fault. And I gotta be smart. And I gotta up my game. The graphics were pretty damn nice. They held up, of course, like any game, right? There's little spots where you're like, the animation's a little off, whatever it is. But the stylings of it and the fact that you got the two characters and they had their own separate world, and even the stories with Mary Jane, right? That's her name. I hope I'm getting that right. The lore. Yeah. Those stories that those parts where you would think they are annoying, I was like, oh, they even did pretty damn good on these, actually.
I'm not saying they didn't do a good job with it. She didn't need to be there.
I'm not even hitting you up, Dalen. This is my story. This is my story, Dalen.
Did you do the pigeon mission, by the way? Did you do that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you're talking about him.
I still got to go back and do a lot of it, but critical path wise, this is like when we were growing up. Like this is kind of what kind of set the point home for me, was the fact that it's like when we were growing up, the graphics were getting better, gameplay was getting better, and to me, this is the next thing. Like it's kind of like the epitome of like, if I had known games were gonna be this incredible when I was like 8 years old, like this is it. This is what would be it. And so to me, it's like, it's kind of an easy choice to like, it's game of the year. And frictionless, the story, everything's good. Luis, what is your number one in your honest opinion? And I think I know, maybe it'd be a little surprising and shocking, but while I do the math, what's your number one game?
I will open this up to back what Dale was talking about, Hi-Fi Rush. I was playing that game. I was in the middle of playing this game. I was maybe 3 to 4 hours into the game, and then Game Pass on my PC just decided to stop working. So I never went back to it.
Oh, that's sad. It was
like even just starting a game, like it would error out. It was just like, we can't start this game. There's an error going on, even though I already had it downloaded. So never went back to it. That is a game I will go back to eventually. So it might have been my game of the year. Who knows? But to bring us back down to earth, Carlos, Spider-Man 2, dude. Come on, man. Stop playing.
Of course. I mean, what are we doing
back down to earth?
I just cannot say enough good things about it. The gameplay, the story, the world exploration. They take, say what you want to say about the what do you call it, the drama or whatever surrounding the only possible on the SSD, but the fast travel, the fast loading, this, that, whatever. Incredible. Their use of the DualSense controller was awesome. Even just the traveling around the world using the web wings, like that alone was, you kind of see it in the trailers or whatever. Like, okay, maybe that'll be kind of cool, gimmicky sort of situation possibly, but I loved it. The weakest part of the game, which I guess this is an honorable mention to in general to Game of the Years or whatever. They're kind of hyping up towards the end of the game, of like, oh, Miles has a new suit. Look at this new suit. He's gonna roll through with this new suit. That suit was trash, dude. His new suit was trash. Weakest part of the game. I'm not gonna ruin anything.
You're not wrong.
But
I immediately changed that suit.
Some art director fucked up there. I don't know what's going on there, but that suit.
I mean, look, these games aren't perfect. All right, I'm gonna say that it's just whatever personal criteria we use to get to this stuff, right? Is kind of what we got to. But look, I did the math. All right, and there's a lot of ties going on around here. Last year was easier. Last year I think it was Ragnarok, and then runner-up was The Quarry, and then I think there was another one. But this is it. You guys threw it for a loop, and I appreciate it. But look, we had our opinions. We said our piece. IMA chose, but the definitive, we got comms 2023. What year are we in? Game of the year with 16 points is Spider-Man 2. we got 3 points from Dalan and 3 points from Dale, and of course me and Luis kind of went with the number one pick there. But tied for runner-ups is Dead Island 2, Dalan. Dead Island 2 tied with Hi-Fi Rush, which Hi-Fi Rush, I appreciate that one. But come on, man. Dead Island 2... Come on, Dalan. What's going on here? Okay, so 5 points. Dead Island 2 tied with Hi-Fi Rush for runner-up.
Hey, if I had done a single player, who's to say it wouldn't have been number one?
I could have. What could have been? It's this year's The Last of Us Part 1 from Dale. What could have been? Yeah, look, that's been a show. That's been the game of the year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I was contemplating saying this before the pod, but just based on how I went, I was like, man, we kind of let it all out there. We did the thing, but I was gonna say I have been considering restructuring the show Salient Points, by which I mean,
I haven't firing somebody.
We're firing. Someone's going off the island. No, that's not it. I can get into more details off Wax, right? But on Wax, I do want to say appreciate. We got a couple subscribers and we had some like decent comments. Jet, which you keep doxing Dalan, Jeremy. Thank you for kind of keeping us busy out there. And we had other comments as well. My brother has always listened to the show. And I'm very super grateful for you guys. The fact that you guys have taken the time. We've done it for a couple years now. It's been last time me and Dalan did it, I think we went 30 episodes, Dalan, and it just kind of fizzled out. I don't even know if I had the website yet up, right? I think we were doing it on
we didn't
YouTube,
have it up at the time.
We were actually on iTunes, maybe.
No, we were doing what was it? It was Google Hangouts.
Yeah. That when we were gonna do this again, I was like, Google Hangouts doesn't work. we literally were like, what are we gonna do? Discord. I guess we're gonna do Discord.
I said Discord. You went with it. We're like, all right, here we are.
Yeah. So that is to say, like I said, I didn't want to bring it up earlier because I was like, I want it to be a good show, and you guys did an awesome effing job, I feel. But I'm not thinking of shutting down the website. The website will continue. I think Salient Points has to be rethought, retinkered with. I think it has to be irregular, right? I feel like if you guys feel it, I hope this is child friendly, but we've said it before, Dalan. If it's something that you feel it in your nuggets, that you need to say it, that you want to say it, I feel like we can come back and like do a podcast where there's just one person or two of us or whatever. But I think as far as the regularly scheduled programming, like for me, I just don't have the time, and I can go into more details, I guess, off Wax. But that's I don't know. I feel like the website continues. I can't stop my brain from doing things and thinking things, so I definitely will keep writing things. But I think for as far as like video and audio, if you guys have like opinions, I'm more than willing. Like, let's do it, let's record it, let's get it done. We have reasonably hype, we have all this other stuff. But as far as Salient Points, regularly scheduled every Tuesday, every Monday, every whenever, I think that one kind of goes on the back burner a little bit. Thoughts? I know I threw that on you guys. On you guys. I didn't want to say it before. I contemplated saying it, so I hope it's not too big of a thing.
It's okay. That's one of those things we definitely should talk about off Wax, but I'm down for having some additional structure. But I do have one question before we end our Game of the Year session here. Is I know you said first place. You said runner up for second place.
That's what Dalan wants to know. We're not. Who cares if we're shutting down the podcast or whatever? What is the tie? What is the other one? All right. So second runner up, if you really must know, Dalan, 4 points. These all had 4 points. Remnant 2, Like a Gaiden, erase his name. Frontiers, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and my Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Basically, our number 2 game. That's the second runner-up tie.
I just hit that.
But I did want to put it on Wax because I think last time we ended it, Dalan, it was really like it just ended. Like, we didn't say bye, and like we didn't get too many subscribers. I think we had like 30, 32, 33 at the most. And we've gotten some nice little views out there. So I do want to continue these, like, kind of like when you feel the inspiration kind of thing. So it's a little more irregular, or maybe we do find something that's like, you know what, nobody else is doing this kind of thing. Maybe there's an idea that kind of springs to mind. But I don't know if you guys want to say anything else, Deo. Dalen just wanted to know the second runner-up. But I know, Dale, look, we met in real life, man. It's been nice. Thank you for kind of...
Hey,
it did
we're
happen.
Friends now.
It did happen.
We're officially friends now. We're not internet friends anymore.
Yeah.
Personals.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
No, I've had a great time, like, the last 2 years, honestly. This podcast tonight, I was like, it's been 2 hours.
You guys made it. Hey, Dale, and Dale, you gotta understand. You guys made it so hard to, like, no, I need to find the time. Like I say, I'll tell you off wax kind of what's going on and stuff like that. But I was like, I want to make the time. I want the time, but you know, like, you guys did
and
such a badass job.
We all wanted to be here. We like being here, Carlos.
Yeah, I love it too, man.
I know you're talking about shutting down the podcast, but honestly, if you want to keep going, I'm down for it. Just let me know.
That's like I said, I think it's just the regular schedule of we're doing it every Monday kind of thing. I think it should be like inspired. I was actually thinking back on, like, at least when we kind of first started, like, doing clips. Like, doing little clips of, like, oh, we're playing games, we're playing Rocket League, and we're just BSing. That goes up, you know, type of stuff. Or like, I know, like, a Dragon comes out, the Ishin. I was like, I don't know, maybe if you're down, Dale, we get together and talk about that, the whole Yakuza series, and, like, how it's gone, and what are your thoughts on that? Or Dalan, Tekken is coming out in a few weeks, and, like, let's talk just
it's
Tekken.
It's our whole series of what you've been playing. That could be our new what you've been playing.
Yeah. But inspirational, right? So we're excited. We're like, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks or in a week or whatever. Like, let's talk about this. I think, Luis, any thoughts, I guess? You know, just to kind of...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, restructuring something. Yeah, I feel like changing something might be beneficial. I don't know what it is. Okay. You know, I don't think any of us know what it is, but maybe just mixing something up and changing it up and making it so that it's not only, you know, fresh to whoever might listen to, but also to us.
Yeah.
While we're recording out here could help, and you know, add a bit more of that spark from the, you know, 100 episodes ago situation or whatever.
Yeah. And I still love it. I still love hanging out with you guys, but maybe it is one of those things where it's like, look, I need to get this off my chest. Let's record. Let's do it. Whereas I think sometimes we would get, like, I know, Dalan, you wanted to talk movies and all this other stuff, but sometimes to me it's like, but we have a show on Monday, like, we're gonna do that. Instead, now it's like, you know what, we went to go watch the latest Miyazaki's, and let's talk about that. Let's just talk that. That's it. Like, and you know, do it that way. But I did want to kind of mention it just so it doesn't just disappear, right?
By the way, to anyone who doesn't know what he means, they're the latest Miyazaki.
Oh, Miyazaki movie. Miyazaki, that's true. By the way, I hope you guys saw that clip of this man, one of the producers. I don't know if you guys saw it on Twitter, but his daughter told him that they won an Emmy, and he's like coming from his nap or something, like, oh, cool, I won something.
I woke up in the middle of it. Like, that's not.
He didn't wake up in the middle of it. Then they replayed that clip. Like, it wasn't live. Like, they replayed that
live.
clip. But look, Carlos Mencia is the master of it. It's a propo, I think it's the word, Dalan, of I don't know what you want from me. That's what you said at the beginning, Dalan.
Don't at me, Carlos.
Don't at me, Macias. Dale Blas, the king of mid-bay, sir. Thank you for joining us. Of course, these last couple years. And like I said, I hope you guys are, if there's a spark, there's something. The platform's there. The platform is there. If you guys are like, let's talk Yakuza, let's talk this, and let's, you know, we got reasonably hype. We've got whatever of, like, let's come back, talk about that. Dale, thank you very much, sir. Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains, thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel, thank you very much. All right, latest, maybe see us sometime soon, I hope so. Just not regularly scheduled programming, but all right, latest.